Ever catch an athlete do something wacky before a big game? What about actors telling each other to break legs? Have you ever knocked on wood? Why do we do these funny things in our society? Melissa Russworm explains Superstitions.
Very superstitious, writings on the wall. Very superstitious.
Black cats, walking under ladders, broken mirrors.
What do all these things have in common?
Superstition ain't the way.
That's right. All things are commonly known as superstitions. A lot of people joke about superstitions, but for many athletes, it's no laughing matter. Some people live by specific rituals, and if they're broken, even only for an instant, it can ruin their day. Or in this case, a big game.
Matt McGrath is a superstitious basketball player at St. Thomas. If he uses the wrong colored towel or wears the wrong socks, he prepares for disaster.
Like the dark one? Never use the dark one. It'll definitely ruin the game. When I used to do it before school and stuff, if I had a bad day, it would definitely be something that, like a ritual before like getting ready, having a shower, whatever. I blame it on something like that. That's the reason why I have a bad game or a bad day.
Many wacky routines are practiced by athletes in all sports. Phil Brown is an all-Canadian center fielder for the UNB baseball team. His team won a national championship this year. He says as the stakes got higher for his team, the superstitions became more outrageous.
Where people sit on the bench is pretty superstitious, I think. If you get caught sitting in the wrong spot sometime, like a big inning or something, you might be ridiculed a little bit by your buddies.
Despite what these athletes say, sports psychologist David Scott says, theoretically, superstitions shouldn't affect an athlete's game. The real key to succeed is confidence.
When an athlete's really, really confident, and just that you're so confident, you know you are going to go out tonight and you're going to score 50 points, right? You just can't wait to get started. Who cares whether you're relaxed or not?
Although he doesn't agree with them, David says outrageous routines exist from amateur all the way up to professional levels of sport. Basketball legend Michael Jordan always wore his college shorts, North Carolina, under his Chicago Bulls uniform for good luck. Golfer Tiger Woods always wears tape on his middle and ring fingers, not for medical reasons, but for luck. Even the world's most famous sports magazine, Sports Illustrated, has a curse attached to its name. It is said that athletes who grace the cover of the magazine are doomed to have their career quickly flop. New Brunswick sports legend Stuart Fraser played in the CFL for 6 seasons. While he was there, he saw and took part in many superstitious routines.
Of course, sometimes people's nerves are a little on edge, and sometimes they feel like they have to perhaps be in the washroom a little bit before the game. And it was a ritual with me that I have to go and sit in there, and I don't know if it was a necessity or habit, but I would somebody inevitably would join me in the washroom, and we had our stalls, right? So we're sitting there on the throne, and I say, would you like to have a game of stall ball? And what are you talking about? Well, you'd take a wad of toilet paper, you'd breathe on a little bit, get some moisture, and then you roll it up like a volleyball. And you had to sit both feet on the floor, and of course your cheeks had to be where they were, and you had to serve it into the other stall, and they allowed 3 hits and it came back, and we just played a game called stall ball. But this one individual, it drove him nuts, because he'd walk in and he'd be ready, an hour and a half, game pants on, everything ready, and already vomited a couple times, and he'd see this ball going back, just a world of toilet paper, and it drove him nuts because he took the game so serious. And here's these people laughing, and we'd always have a game of stall ball, and that was before a game, just to maybe take the edge off things, to relax a little bit. And of course, the last thing I always had to do was I had to brush my teeth. It was just one of those things. The last thing I did before I stepped out onto the field, I had to brush my teeth.
Rituals don't end in sports. Superstitions are also prevalent in theater. STU student and actress Ruthie Luff said the theater wouldn't be as great without the color that superstitions bring.
For me at least, watching someone else being very superstitious is just fun. And so especially in theater, if you have where it's such a close community, just like in athletics, you know, a team is a team. You have to connect. There's just a certain amount of respect. So if someone doesn't want you whistling, don't whistle, right? So there's just a neat like dynamic that goes along with accepting superstitions, even if you're not superstitious. And so that makes it just, I think it makes it fun.
Ruthie also says, as different as they may seem, there's a common ground between theater and sport. Rituals make them relatable.
But if you're about to play a basketball game or a hockey game, you have to get in the mindset of, this is what I want to achieve, this is what I want to be conscious of. You can't just be half awake, you know? So there is this type of being conscious of something, being alert and assertive about what's happening in your surroundings. So that level of consciousness, I think, plays with both.
Once or twice a year, they will go back to these retro jerseys.
Stuart Fraser says these routines take people of fame off the pedestal.
It adds a lot to the story of the individuals, the characters that play the game. You like to hear those things about these individuals. It makes them a little bit closer to the fan or the individual that is a supporter of that particular team or league, or whatever it might be. And I guess to a certain degree, maybe they see part of themselves in some of these little idiosyncrasies that somebody might have, and they can, well, that person is, you know, they're not up on the pedestal. You know, they've got some rather unique situations or ways about them. So I guess it makes them a little bit more human.
Superstitions, crazy or not, they seem to bring Joe's six-pack a little closer to Joe's superstar. For STU Journalism, I'm Melissa Rustworm in Fredericton.